For those who don't know me, my name's Danny. It's good to meet all of you. Before we jump straight into the nitty-gritty of cybersecurity things, super quick moment, get to know each other, have an obligatory intro. Is this anybody's first B-Sides conference? Raise your hand. Awesome. Welcome in. Welcome. My first one was in April in B-Sides SLC. I had an absolute blast. As you heard in the intro, if you were here, if not, I'll say it again. These are all about networking, contributing to the community, as well as the industry. I'm super pumped to be here. If you want, you're more than welcome to add me on LinkedIn. I love to get to know people. I think it's incredible. How I got here, it's kind of crazy. It's definitely a wild ride. As an adult, I've stud toilets. I've driven trains. If you're wondering, yes, I was at the engineering console. Hopefully I didn't leave you behind when you needed to go somewhere important, because I was ruthless. I've repaired phones, managed support teams. I've done help desk. Currently work for an inventory management software company doing cloud support. Everything's taught me something different. I'd say probably grit, problem solving, and just how to get through it when it gets messy, because it will get messy. Some days are better than others. All of these really come together to give me my core principles on how to do things. I've worked with like Hershey's Chocolate, Pepsi, McDonald's, Homeland Security, others. I'm the ambassador for the Northern Utah area for Simply Cyber. Shout out to Team SC if you know them. If you're not, or you don't know what it is, Simply Cyber is a Sans Awarded podcast that is every weekday. If you need CPEs, half a CP every day, 120 CPEs per year, you're going to get more than you need. So I love it. Keeps me up to date. Absolute gold mine. And if you want to join Simply Cyber, it's just simplycyber.io Discord. Why do I share this? It's a little bit long-winded, but I share this because through all of the different industries and positions I've worked in, it's that tech debt is the same in that it has incredibly far-reaching arms. I've witnessed firsthand that cybersecurity isn't just about a script or a log or punching through firewalls. To me, I believe that it's about each project, each team, and each interaction. My goal is to help look at how we can turn these challenges into strengths. And I reviewed a lot of this, and simply due to how deep the two examples I want to go into are, I won't be able to go into full depth, but I do have a table that goes into a little more depth if you want to. Again, I threw that on my GitHub. Feel free to grab it. To start, what is tech debt? If you don't know, tech debt is the future cost that is incurred when development teams will take shortcuts or take a trade-off to choose a quick and easy solution over what is usually a more robust, sustainable, or higher quality approach. This often will happen to expedite a delivery. Perhaps deadlines are coming and you need to make it to your deadline. Inevitably, you will be finding additional work and complexity that is eventually going to have to be addressed. Tech debt is how I see as a physical manifestation of your senior leadership's mindset towards their portfolio, program, or projects and how they want them to function. It'll represent a silent accrual of future development that will accumulate, and by prioritizing your short-term solutions over your long-term security architecture, it'll create an invisible burden that, much like financial interest, it will compound over your time. In cybersecurity context, this will be manifested through postponed security measures, unpatched vulnerabilities, inadequate implementations that increasingly expose evolving threats. You'll eventually need exponential more resources to remediate this the longer you leave it. The difficulty is the unknown amount of man hours. It's compounding, but you don't know how fast. You may not know how far. And the fiscal assets will immediately go up to it. Some studies will show that up to 40% of an IT budget are consumed just by maintaining technical debt rather than innovation of your product. As cyber threats evolve and technology is increasingly innovating faster, organizations carrying this security debt are going to find themselves trapped through the reactive cycle. They can't get ahead because they're too busy trying to keep up. They'll be struggling to keep pace with the emerging threats while simultaneously addressing all of those past shortcuts that are knocking at your door. In the role of cybersecurity, it's protecting your business operations by safeguarding your data, ensuring business continuity, and the one that's also hard to measure is keeping your customer trust. In 2021, IBM reported the average data breach cost $4.25 million. I don't have that money. It's a lot of money. I wish I did. But tech debt ultimately will amount between 20 and 40% of your technology estate value. So just think to yourself real quick. And if you know, I'm actually curious. If you can share. If you can't, that's totally fine. But what would a week-long system outage cost your business? Do you know how much a single full business day outage would cost your organization? How about a week? Exactly. Like some companies are going to fold in a day and a half or less. Can you survive a month? Imagine just for a moment with me here, tech debt like rust on a bridge. I like comparisons. At first, you'll see it. It's going to look cosmetic, but if you leave it unchecked and you leave it there, don't do a thing, it will begin to eat and weaken your structure. You're good enough, might hold for now, but ultimately it'll multiply the risk of the bridge collapsing until it will fail. This is just a preview, but diving deeper into risk, I want to look at not just what can break or how bad is it broken, but what does it mean when it breaks for your business. Up here we have the Lockheed Martin Cyber Kill Chain. This is one of the things that I would love to dive into, but keeping a high-level overview. It's a framework that is how we can have a cyber attack. Starting, we have recon, where they gather information about your target, vulnerabilities, technologies, structure, if you use public resourcing, network scanning, weaponization, where you can tailor malware, other viruses. You can look for exploits. You often will build payloads here. Once you have that, you're going to switch into delivery, where it's transmitted, usually through like an email attachment, perhaps a malicious link, bad website. If you find a USB in a parking lot, do not pick it up. It is probably part of this stage. From there, once those have been there, we're into the exploitation phase. The delivered code, it will be executed. This is where you're actually taking advantage of those vulnerabilities. We go into installation, where you start to see backdoors. You get your persistence. People, once they exploit you, they want to come back. They're going to put it there. They're going to leave it. They're going to come back. When they come back, we're looking at C2, command and control. I like to think of the 2 C's. That's how I remember it. This is where they establish their channels. I don't know why. I just think of ET. He's trying to phone home. Your server's going to beacon out. You've got to command it somehow. This is reaching out to say, hey, I'm here. What do you want me to do? After that, once you give it, you have your actions on objectives, where you're carrying out your goals. You're giving it those commands. It could be data theft, destruction, ransomware. It could be a myriad of things. This ultimately was adapted from the military on the concept of the kill chain. It emphasizes that if you can disrupt and completely stop any stage of this, you can dramatically mitigate, if not stop, the entire attack itself. It's particularly effective when modeling an APT or advanced persistent threat to help build defense at each and every stage. I personally believe that you're only as strong as your weakest spot on this model. So definitely take a look at it if you've never heard it before. One of the 2 breaches I'm going to highlight real quick is the Equifax breach, 2017. There were unpatched Apache struts that led to 147 million people that cost $1.4 billion in damages. It was disclosed on March 7th. They were notified on the 8th, but it was exploited until July. So you have a wide variety of time where all of these were taking place. This use case has some key technical debt factors, such as they had incomplete IT asset inventory. They failed with their patch management. They had expired security certificates. They had disabled monitoring for 19 months. They didn't know what was going on for almost 2 years. And they had a legacy setup that was dating back to the 70s, which is horrifying. From now, that's 50 years. The other one is, you'll hear commonly, this is probably the most sophisticated cyber attack ever. It was the 2020 SolarWinds attack. This is another extreme example where the tech debt and the supply chain itself exposed over 18,000 organizations from a software update. It was, I believe, the Orion update became malicious, and then you're suddenly in a ton of federal organizations. You're in high-profile IT and security organizations. And this also went undetected for 15 months between September 2019 and December 2020, which was the beginning of COVID, which dramatically made this even more impactful. This highlights the risk of inheriting tech debt from your vendors. This week I actually got somebody was trying to get an argument saying, I'm asking these because you're my vendor. I said, I know. How can I help you? And I said, because of SolarWinds, I want to help you. This is important. And they settled down. They had no idea what SolarWinds was. They probably looked it up, but they stopped complaining. They actually gave me the list. It was nice. But as shown in both of these, one of them is the Equifax. I want to highlight how costly they could be. That's not even as expensive as they can be. They can get really costly. They can affect millions, if not billions of people. But the SolarWinds highlights, it's not just you. You need to look at those who you work with. Between these tech debt can and will create vulnerabilities at each and every stage of your attack chain, making it absolutely critical to identify and address each of these properly. Reducing your tech debt strengthens defenses across the attack chain, minimizing success. Simple. The less they have, the less likely they are going to succeed. When we talk about translating tech debt into business terms is really the foundation of what interests me. Is we can say a lot of things, but if we can quantify the risks, we can use like the FAIR model, let us explain them in dollars and cents to our executives. Instead of saying the system has a critical vulnerability, if you tell them we have a 30% chance that this weakness is going to cost us $2 million if exploited, they're going to pay a lot more attention because you're speaking their language. They have a lot more to weigh. If you need to highlight operational impacts, tech debt doesn't just live in code. It'll show up when systems will go down. Employees will lose your hours and productivity. Ransomware can and probably will keep you offline for days if you haven't done tabletops. There are costs that are immediately felt to your business.
Most noticeable ones too.
Absolutely.
I had a really big environment where people got used to having downtime all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we worked together to pay down some of that tech debt, that operational downtime diminished quite a bit to where it was not common anymore.
Exactly.
It was like that was one of the ways we told that story. It was like, this is what we did, this is why it worked.
Exactly. You will have to pay down, and it might be up front a lot more downtime potentially, but your total downtime over a set period will generally decrease exactly like that. I love that example. Go ahead.
There's another cost that I ran into recently. A lot of our largest customers have started putting in availability metrics within the actual contract, and if we don't meet those, they have put in the contract different tiers of discounts on our fees.
Exactly.
For our service. So,
Yeah, you'll have.
So not only are you going to be doing like the cost for like fixing, you're going to be losing revenue too.
Absolutely. If you didn't hear mentioning, you're going to have service level agreements and other KPIs. If you don't provide certain level of service, you're not just going to be paying to fix it, you will be losing your revenue. Customers expect it to be up. Why pay for service if it's not there? Bottom line. And it will quickly and continually hit you until it's fixed. Which I guess transitions to my next one is the reputational damage. Customers aren't going to want to renew. They're not going to want to stay if they can't rely on you. A single breach will undo years of trust building from customers and partners. Equifax, it failed. The real story was how the confidence in Equifax dramatically dropped. when you have time, absolutely interesting. Another example, I love examples, is compare it to something familiar to your executives. If you have a broken lock on a storefront, it might look like it's just fine from the outside. It's an open invitation for somebody to come in. Whether it's physical or curiosity, people are going to look, people are going to poke if they're not already. Pair qualitative measures like a CVSS with a quantitative, like your projected financial losses, whether it's loss of revenue, you have to spend more expenditures to patch. You need to make it tangible, relatable, and actionable to pay down said tech debt. I've been guilty of this myself. It's caused a lot of pain. Cybersecurity professionals will often use technical jargon. They'll say, we have these CVEs, TTPs, KEVs. We can go on acronyms all day. They consistently will fail to resonate with your executives. They're going to shut off. Senior leadership is focused on their revenue, customer trust, compliance. They're
It's not their job.
it's not their job. It's not that they're trying to be rude. It's just so far above them. But if you want to be effective, align it to your business priorities. Secure your stakeholder buy-in. Make it personal. Make it relevant. Include them in your solution. And don't say no. Build it together. Because they will, when they own it, they will help you the whole way. As long as they are actively part of it and being valued. A good example, again, I've been guilty of this. Don't say, we need to patch CVE 2025, 22 to 24 in our software. Instead, because you're telling them what needs to happen, you're not lying, translate it. You're not dumbing it down. You're translating it. Tell them an unpatched vulnerability could lead to a $2 million data breach, disrupt operation for 3 days, and dramatically damage your customer reputation. Translating it into these financial and operational impacts, again, will resonate them. You will begin to find budgets coming in and increase that stakeholder input. When it comes to tackling it, it's not just finding it, it's knowing how to prioritize it. You can see all of it. You need to find, through auditing, think of it like a health checkup. You have to ask what's outdated, what's unpatched, where are the cracks. Without these touch points, it will pile up. You need to look at your prioritization frameworks like CVSS or CISA's KEV. It's the known exploited vulnerabilities list catalog. That'll help us focus on what has a higher likelihood of being it. It can be a really bad vulnerability, but is it 30% or is it 0.1%? That'll help you figure out what's important. And of course, we have DevSecOps. People love to hate on them, but if you build securely from the beginning with your stakeholders, you don't have to bolt on security after you have a product. If you start it from the beginning, it'll be embedded throughout the software. People will be engaged, and you can build securely and safely from the beginning. You can't just do everything manually. You're going to need to automate when possible. Automate your scanning, automate your patching. The only thing, and I may be wrong, but the only thing I'm personally aware of is you're not able to automate social engineering because you're doing primarily human-to-human contact.
AI is changing that.
Is it? Okay.
AI is making it better, but also more like, imagine spearfishing at scale.
That's more mortifying.
Be very scared.
Interesting. But you need to also assess your asset criticality. How important is it to your business? It may be worth it just to take something out of production if it's not actually doing anything for you. You've got your 4-quadrant debt model. I think of this as like maintaining your house. Sometimes you don't want to, but you do have to put something off deliberately, like leaving a water heater in place for just a little bit longer. If you're planning for it, it can be prudent. If you have a leaking roof, it's going to feel inconvenient, but if you do nothing, you turn into recklessness very quickly. Other times, debt may happen inadvertently, like discovering old water or broken pipe. If a breaker trips, that turns into recklessness. Unfortunately, due to time, we can't go too much in this, but we've got our phases here. We've got a list. Make a list. Check for like leaks and broken locks. Look for what's going on in your application. And metaphorically speaking, keep your roof patch. Keep things together. The other one shows more metrics and how I can tie it together. But by speaking security through the business accent, you will turn tech debt, all of these challenges, into opportunities for organization resilience, fostering collaboration, and driving meaningful change. Ultimately, tech debt is inevitable. You can't get rid of it. But so is your progress. If you face it head on, you don't just reduce the debt, you build resilience, trust, and a stronger future. Thank you for showing up today.